Welcome back. This is Bent Discipline with another lesson in the series. Now, this lesson is all about why relationships end. Specifically, why do dominant and submissive relationships fail? I broke it down into two major categories, and some of them are very much from a vanilla world, and others are directly from the DS. Let's start with why I think from the female side this happens. When I say female, I mean submissive in this case. Now, your relationship may be completely different, but this is about a male dominant and a female submissive. So she changes. So the things that happen for her that change that cause the relationship to end. Now, the first one is, and this happens in vanilla relationships too. There's a breach of trust, or in this case, a breach of the contract. Now, that goes without saying. For me, that would be the end of a relationship. And it does happen. It's not happened a lot to me, thank goodness, but it has happened. And often, if you don't end the relationship when there is a breach of trust and of contract, you should have, because later you'll later regret it. The next one is she gets lazy and puts in the minimum amount of effort. Now, I can't be more specific than that, but it's just like she knows that she's now with you and she's trying to see what she can get away with. Um, Sub grows, heals, and her needs and wants change. So some subs need a cathartic release. They need some way of releasing stress energy, and scenes can provide that for them. So if you're helping her, or if she does it on her own and she becomes more stable, more happy, more overcoming these challenges that she was facing, that she needed the cathartic release, then that could be the end of the relationship because she no longer needs that. The next one is she tries to get away with the most she can all the time. You know, this is the kind of similar but opposite of putting in the minimum of effort. This is trying to get away with as much as she can. So if you have rules set, and for instance, as an example, drinking, but every time she tries to drink more than she's allowed or more often than she's able to, that's an example of trying to get away with more than she can. So this next part is just basically me saying people are like river. We're ever changing, and we're modified and reshaped by not only ourselves but also by the interactions we have with others. So keep that in mind, that the sub you meet today is not the sub that you'll have in a year from now, because she changes, she grows, she develops, and sometimes that's the cause. She needs change as she grows. Um, Her needs change as she grows. So that was just basically what we're just saying. She gets emotionally attached and wants more of the trappings slash commitment of a vanilla relationship. Now, this seems counterintuitive because she's not a vanilla, but why would she want the trappings of a vanilla relationship? This goes to security. And as a sub ages, now this is, typically for a younger sub between 18 and say 24, 25, at first, she doesn't need the security of a relationship. She's just looking to have a good time. Maybe she wants to experience some things before she settles down. But as she comes closer and closer to 25 and eventually to 30, she's thinking in her head, well, I would like to settle down. I'd like to have kids someday. So I better start getting serious and find the type of man that will provide me with that level of stability and security. So if you're not providing that for her, she might be looking for that somewhere else. And it may not be in the vanilla world, or maybe it is, I'm not really sure. But that could be another cause of the failure of a relationship. She gets bored and needs constant challenge slash uniqueness. Now, this goes back to one of the videos I did before where I was comparing subs to cats. Cats need that, they need the chase, and they want the challenge of what you're doing. So this is very much like a sub. She needs to be engaged, and she needs you to be the one who challenges her and creates that sense of interest and uniqueness. If you're doing the same things all the time, she can predict what you're going to do, and it gets very flat, very boring, very, very quickly. She finds a master who seems to offer her more of what she wants or needs at that time. So if you combine the fact that she's changing and evolving with the fact that you're being boring or consistent, she may have new needs that you're not reaching, you're not able to fulfill, or you're not even noticing that she needs, and she finds someone else that's able to provide her with what she thinks she needs at that time. So that's another reason that it could end. Um, as she ages, her focus changes, new challenges and opportunities. So, for instance, school, work, or like I mentioned before, family. So she might be off to university, or she might be done university. Now she's starting her career, and that may bring her to another location, or maybe her commitments change, her time commitments change. She breaches your contract or trust. So we talked about that earlier. A truth is revealed that was originally hidden: an addiction, an infidelity, a history, or a character flaw. So this goes to the fact that you always want to find out as much as you can at the very, very beginning. Now, sometimes there's things that you don't get told, unfortunately, or you don't discover until much, much later. And that could be the cause of the end of a relationship, when something's brought to light, either for the fact that it was hidden from you, or that whatever information is so damning that it ends the relationship. Sub needs to constantly be upgrading, improving everything in their lives. This also includes you. So it's their nature, female nature, not just subs, to be constantly looking to improve their situation. And sometimes that involves you. And if she feels that you are not the best that she can get, or you can't, if you've gotten flat, meaning like you're not changing at all, then she's going to look to improve her situation if she can. It's an unfortunate fact, but it's very true. Okay, so on the you change side, so first we just talked about what she could do that would cause the end of a relationship. This is what you could do that would cause the end of a relationship. You breach a contract or trust. Now, this is very important, because there are things that you could do that would end a relationship. You would breach her trust, and she would no longer want to have a relationship with you. And I've heard horror stories about fake doms or new doms doing things that they should never have done, and as a result, there was a breach of trust, and that ended the relationship instantly. Your needs or interests may grow in the opposite direction of your subs. So I did talk about how a sub may change and develop and grow. Well, that happens to dominants too. Perhaps the things that you were doing with this sub led you in a direction, and her interest and your interest divided, or she's not providing you with the same things that you need. Maybe you're a masochist, and you need a pain slut, and unfortunately, it's just not a connection that's there. So those are some of the reasons that could happen. You lose patience with a non-progressing or responsive / lazy sub. We talked about some of the things that they can do that can cause the end of it. Well, this is you just finally losing patience and saying, you know what, you're just not providing me with the level of um, submission that I require. I need this much submission, and you've crossed the line. I can't deal with this anymore. So that can happen. You just lost your patience. Um, your needs have never been fulfilled. So that also happens, where you start a relationship with someone and you think that, okay, this is going to work out and she will grow into this sub that will fulfill my needs in this area. And either by exclusion, or maybe it's your fault, maybe you thought that she would grow into this role and she never did, or never has. It's kind of like a lion being forced to eat salad all the time. They're never really being satiated. They're being full, but they're not being satiated. And so that could also be that there was some kind of disconnect at the very beginning of the relationship, either her not being truthful about what she's willing to provide you, or maybe you were completely upfront in what your needs were. In any case, or maybe she just figured out that she couldn't provide those things to you. But that can happen, where you could go through a great relationship, except for the fact that in this case your needs are not being met. In the first case, I was talking about her needs not being met, but it's also possible that your needs are not being met. You are not prepared to make changes required to keep her. So, as an example, if you're with a sub for a long time, and perhaps if she's a young sub, she will want those vanilla type commitments. Maybe you're not willing to provide those, and as a result, she's going to bounce, because she needs that level of security. Perhaps maybe she's gotten to an age where she's like, oh, I need to settle down. I need to, focus on moving on with my life, my biological clock, or whatever other reasons. So maybe there's something that's happening and she needs more than you can provide. And that does happen. And you're just not willing to make those changes. And then this is the same thing that I said for the sub. A truth is revealed originally hidden. So an example: addiction, infidelity, history, or character flaws that either you didn't release, or that you found out about yourself. So it's the same thing for the sub. Maybe she was hiding something from you. Maybe you were hiding something from her. But in either case, that could be the end of the relationship, because secrets are extremely damaging. Also, when these truths can come out, they can come out much later. I mean, the infidelity might have happened at the beginning of a relationship, but the truth may not have come out for a year or two, and as a result, that could destabilize the relationship, even if you've had a great relationship up until that, like between those 2 points. So that's what I have for you today. These are, I guess some of this is sad, but it's good to know what can cause the instabilities in advance so you can try to avoid them if that's what you choose to do. If you want to have a long and healthy and happy relationship with your partner, it's good to really understand that they are developing and changing and evolving, and so are you, and to keep constant lines of communication so that hopefully you can have exactly what you want for as long as possible. Thank you very much. Be safe.